A very warm welcome. You're watching IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 11. I'm Ritwika Gupta. Tonight I'll be in conversation with three enterprising women from three different sectors. What they all have in common is that their businesses are self-financed and they also happen to be friends. I'll be in conversation with Niraali Parekh, founder Bokaap Design, Branding and UX UI Design Studio, Radhika Butala, brand strategist and founder The Better Collective, and Jaya Mehrotra, leadership coach and founder Women Leadership Circle, about women in business, challenges, opportunities and much more. Niraali, Jaya, Radhika, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks. Such a pleasure.
Such a pleasure.
So, this is our Women's Day special series which we are doing, and I want to kick this off by asking each one of you, what has really changed for women entrepreneurs over the last 5-10 years, perhaps? Niraali?
So a lot has changed in the last 10 years, and you see the result sitting on this couch. So I'll put it down in three things. At a macro level, there was globalization, urbanization, the tech advancement, and because of all three things, the opportunities just kind of boomed for entrepreneurs in general, sure. Not just women or men, but in general, there were a lot more opportunities to start businesses. And then that gave room to more women, educational opportunities. There were more universities that were coming to India, different kind of majors that a woman could study versus what was there earlier. And at a micro level, there was a support system that strengthened for women. Bank support, family encouragement, and then lastly, women started joining at a leadership level, and there became more role models for more women to join the workforce.
Wonderful. Jaya?
I think adding to what Niraali said, in the last 30 years, especially around post-liberalization, a lot of women joined the workforce who are now become women CEOs, they're founders. It's been an outstanding journey for the last 10 years. And there is a shift, energy shift happening, I think, in the last 5 years. And I think around the pandemic, you can see amazing number of women founders and entrepreneurs. I think further from Niraali, I think earlier to be a founder, it required land, labor, a lot of money. And today, because of the amount of digitalization, there is a kind of equality of opportunity that's happened. And that's not just true to women, it's happened to anybody living across the globe. So that's what's really changed, I think. And I think we have some great role models in the last 2 decades in women, which has given us a lot of courage to pursue our dreams.
Fantastic. Radhika?
So I think broadly ambition has been unleashed in India in general. I feel like there is a real entrepreneurial wave that's taken over the country, supported at the highest levels of government and then trickling all the way down. There's capital available for women entrepreneurs and male entrepreneurs, and so when there's capital available, there's a growing consumer set. The middle class is growing significantly. Discretionary spending is rising. So there's so much opportunity for disrupting so many different categories, innovating in so many categories. So when the opportunity for entrepreneurship exists, both men and women can partake of it equally, right? So I think the sky's the limit.
Awesome. Niraali, coming to you. So you are in the design tech space. You founded Bokaap Design. Of course, tell us, what led to the formation of Bokaap Design, what inspired you to, because there are not too many women entrepreneurs in that space. There's still a disparity, if I may say. And also tell us, what is the role of design for brands, for businesses today?
So I'll just start off with explaining a little bit about what I do. Bokaap Design works with MSMEs and corporates, enabling business goals with branding and UX UI design. So branding is your design component and UX UI is plugged into the tech space. So I used to study in the US, and I also worked there for a few years before I moved back to India. And when I was plotting my next move, I was just looking at the landscape in India. A lot of things happened around 2009, 2010, and I like to call it the reverse brain drain, when a lot of like-minded American or UK educated Indians were coming back to India joining their family businesses and starting their own businesses. So I saw a market opportunity. There was already a gap because there were a lot more ad agencies back then, and there were very few design studios that catered to niche design services like branding, and there were IT companies that did web design. Sure. So there was already a gap in the market, and there was a huge market opportunity with a lot of these entrepreneurs coming in, becoming a part of the startup boom that was happening. And I saw the right opportunity for me to be a direct part of the India growth story. And the last 13 years for me has been great, along with all of these things that we spoke about earlier with women, with entrepreneurs in general. And design today, where it was earlier underestimated, design today is, I would say, cannot be and should not be ignored at all, and should not be an afterthought, because design is enabling businesses to make certain decisions without spending that are relevant to the market. Commercially viable ideas can now become prototypes much easily, and any top businesses that you see today have design thinking, branding, usability, and user-centric digital ecosystems that design enables, and they are that's the reason why they are successful today, one of the many reasons.
So Radhika, when I visited your website, I read something like to build a brand using the power of collective. Yeah. So tell us, what do you mean by the power of collective? What does that mean, and how did that contribute to your vision for Better Collective?
Right. So, because I was building a firm that is a strategic advisor to founders at various points in their startup journey, primarily early stage and then with some amount of traction, it made me think that startup journey can be a very lonely one, and it's very important to have the right kind of partners to help realize your vision, right? So the way I view a relationship between the kind of work that my firm does and what a founder does is a collaborative partnership where we're kind of like an outsourced CMO. So we're working in a very collective, collaborative way toward a specific business outcome. That was one aspect of this. The other aspect of collective was the fact that brand building has never been more complicated, more dynamic. It's very fragmented, and yet the need to forge connections between all those moving parts really quickly has never been higher. So my thought was, when you view this, how companies are building brands, oftentimes there is a great disconnect between one aspect of a brand and the other aspect of a brand, or what the company is doing as a business and what the brand is communicating externally to its consumers. And so I thought, why not bring some of the best folks in the industry who are specializing in certain aspects of brand building and bring them together into sort of a bespoke power team for an entrepreneur across strategy, design, technology, as well as finance and fundraise. So that's my attempt to be able to take startups from idea to fundraise in a seamless journey with a partner who is very invested in your success.
Jaya, coming to you, you founded Women Leadership Circle, so I understand you organize these professional networking platforms, for women in business, these power lunches, and tell me, how do you think these kind of events, really help to empower women in business, and also talk to us a little bit about your business model?
So WLC is a Women Leadership Circle. I think a lot of networking platforms exist, but they're at very early stages. And in the last few years, a lot of startup ecosystem has happened. A lot of women unicorns have come in. A lot of women have become CEOs in India and internationally. And I think most women are looking for a platform where there is a sense of intimacy in the way you network. And women want to be, when they join a platform, they want it to be impactful and outcome oriented. And I think women want to run these platforms. So the difference in our platform will be run by the members itself. That's the first thing we're doing. So in the first year of anybody joining, they will be given a role, which is basically either you will be a learning chair, or you'll be part of the membership committee, you'll be part of the finance chair, you will be part of new structures. You want to maybe partner with Stanford or Harvard to do a course. So partnership chair will be given, and you will do these roles for a year. So you not only get to grow the organization, you get to learn on these roles, and also get to network with these roles. And I think when I see the world around, while such networking platforms do exist for our male counterparts to very seriousness. I think the time has come for such networking platforms for female, and I think that's why we started this. And this is the first year we are starting the Bombay chapter. I hope by next year or end of this year, we should have 30 to 50 members. And then we want to take the chapter to another city and then maybe internationally. That's what.
It's time for a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 11. And tonight we are having a very special Women's Day special panel discussion. Listen in. Radhika, coming to you, you've been in the corporate sector for many years. Tell me what prompted you to, start off on your own, a venture of your own. How did you get that courage, and what advice would you have for entrepreneurs, who are also starting up in terms of really managing risk?
No doubt about it, being an entrepreneur is all about having the courage to take a risk and also having the vision to make an impact, right? And I think for me it was the second one that was more of a driver, in the sense that I saw a very distinct opportunity and gap in the market in terms of how startups were being created, how they were growing, how they were scaling. And I was seeing how the brand building journey itself was quite fragmented. So for me, it felt like an opportunity to take various aspects of my skill set and my learnings from various previous roles that I've had and apply all of those learnings in a very cohesive way to be able to advise founders on taking their brands and businesses to the next level. I think it's very important to kind of have experience in a lot of things, learn a lot before you take the plunge.
That was very interesting, for sure. Jaya, coming to you, fun question, but I think definitely a relevant one. Give me 3 reasons, just 3 reasons, why the world needs more women in leadership roles.
I think the question answers itself. You can see the world we live in with all the climate change and very hot February as we speak. I think if I had to identify top 3 reasons, there are many. I think women are great role models. I think we really know that as we become leaders, people are looking up to us, and that creates a level of integrity, honesty to our work. That is one very important reason. I think the other thing that happens is that we are multi-dimensional beings. We are not one-dimensional, and when a woman comes into her own power, what she can unleash for others is an outstanding thing. I personally, while I am an entrepreneur, I'm also a leadership coach. I also train to be an artist. I also run a book club.
Yeah.
One thing doesn't suffice me. Just like one friend doesn't suffice me, and that's what is very unique about women. And I think one of the other things women do is we are transformational in nature. We don't want to transform ourselves. We want to transform everybody in our team. We want to coach them. We want to inspire them. We want to enable them. And these are the 3, from my side, top reasons why more women leaders are needed.
Amazing. Niraali, coming to you. So, our show is also about empowering smaller, medium-sized businesses. So, tell me, what are the major growth drivers for your industry, especially when it comes to, helping these smaller businesses, smaller, players who are in the market?
So I'll tell you, design now plays a very integral role in any startup ecosystem. I'll start from the beginning. When you're thinking of an idea, you have a great idea, you validated it, and you want to get out there and sell the next bread, right? You have this great bread, you're very clear about the product. You're not good. Yes, you could just take a piece of white paper, write bread on it, put it on the shelf, and hope that it sells. Or you could come to an expert who researches the market, understands the target audience, understands your business, understands your brand personality, and crafts out a design solution that is appropriate for what your product is, and a packaging that resonates with the target audience. The D2C market is growing at the moment. It's estimated at around $10 billion by 2025. So there's a lot of room for design to play a large role, and this is from the branding side. Within the tech ecosystem, UX UI design should be at the start of any product journey, because what UX UI designers do, a process itself is rooted in research, in testing, in iterating and prototyping to get a founder's idea from idea to innovation, without having them spend a lot of money in building out these tech products and then going out there and seeing, hey, you know what, this doesn't work. So UX UI design allows businesses to get out there with an idea, validate it, come back to the table, make the changes that they need, and which is ultimately impacting the bottom line and allowing a small business to really understand the market and put out a product that is relevant.
Nice. All right. Radhika, coming to you, you are from a very competitive industry. What advice would you have, for a working professional, a woman working professional, who's probably in her 20s or 30s, who is just about, getting into her space, finding her own calling, and, also navigating power structures, what advice would you have for her?
So the startup ecosystem is a lot of type A, highly ambitious people, all competing for a finite amount of consumer mind space, VC funding, etc., right? Which means that you kind of have to be at the top of your game. I think it's probably more about being really good at what you do. It's also about just listening. And women are great listeners, and I think that's a big competitive advantage for us, because men are often thinking of the next thing to say. Women are often listening and internalizing, and maybe they'll say less, but they'll say things that are more impactful. And I think we can use that as a fantastic leverage to be taken seriously.
Right. Well, ladies, as we wrap up this conversation, my last question to each one of you. Tell me, what advice would you have for women entrepreneurs, who are looking to start up? If there is just that one thing you'd like to tell our viewers today.
So the advice I would give women entrepreneurs is, if you have an idea that you are convinced with, you've gone to market, you've gone ahead and done the research, validated it, just go ahead and start it. There's no right time to do anything. So if you go ahead and start the idea, you will eventually build the right team, hire the right people who sometimes has more knowledge than you have, and it's okay. You should accept that there are other people who know more than you in a certain space. You will be focusing on business growth, and somebody else will come in who is an HR expert, who is a tech expert, for example. So start that. Don't let go of the need to always be right, because and women in general are more open and receptive to hearing all types and all answers. And I would say, be positive, be confident in yourself. Work as if you're building something for the next generation. I don't think enough women have been doing that so far, because we're conditioned to operate in a very different way. I think our generation is seeing things differently, where you're seeing more women out there in the workplace. And I think this shift happened to me at some point of my journey in the last 13 years, where I say, hey, I'm not doing this just for fun, just as a hobby. I'm doing this for growth. I'm doing this to build wealth. And if you have that outlook, and if you're very confident about your idea, you will go out there and build the right teams and build the right partnership to go out and get your product or service out there.
So I think what I would like to give advice to women is that you will have a very unique journey. Everybody's journey is very different. There'll be moments where things will really go your way and you will feel very lucky. And there'll be moments when things will not go your way. And I think that time, really be patient, work with being persistent, go and learn. If you don't have a skill or a subject that you don't understand, please go and find a way to learn about that subject. Find mentors, sponsors. There are enough people who want to mentor any entrepreneur, especially women entrepreneurs. The world is really coming together to see women succeed, and the future is female. Yeah, I get goosebumps every time I say this. So future is really female. So have that belief in yourself, and stay persistent, stay patient. And I would also encourage women to understand money. I think we are seeing the world turn around right now. We are hitting a roadblock on easy money, and any startup needs ecosystem of money to thrive. So please understand money. Don't leave it to others to manage money for you. It's the skill we've known for years and centuries. We were always CFOs at home. So take charge of your business's money, because that is the one reserve that will hold you to stay long in your journey.
I think, everything they've said is completely on point. I would just maybe say, do your research, because there's a lot of ideas in the world that have already been done. So find your niche, find the need gap in the market. And if you're going to invest in the startup building journey, you might as well stack all the odds in your favor. And one way to do that is to really solve an actual consumer challenge rather than being a Me Too brand, right? So I think doing your homework in terms of category, in terms of where consumers are headed, where the economy is headed, where the emerging opportunities might lie, I think that kind of research, reading, understanding is very important. And just do what you believe in, and do it with conviction, do it with a sense of fun. You'll make mistakes, it's okay, it's not the end of the world, do it with a sense of fun. And yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Wonderful, fantastic. Well, thank you so much, ladies. I think these were some really valuable insights and observations. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
With that, it's a wrap on this episode of IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 11. We hope you enjoyed the conversations. Thank you and goodbye.